Imagine writing the most iconic heartbreak song in rock history, while the person who broke your heart is standing 10 feet away in the same studio, listening to every single word. That's not a scene from a movie. That's Tuesday for Lindsey Buckingham. For nearly 5 decades, the world watched one of music's most complicated love stories unfold in real time. Through sold-out stadiums, platinum albums, explosive backstage fights, and a 2018 firing that blindsided the entire music industry. But now, at 75 years old, Lindsey Buckingham is sitting down, taking a breath, and finally saying out loud what millions of fans have been waiting to hear. And honestly, some of it is beautiful. Some of it will make your jaw drop. And the way this man is living his life right now, after everything, is something nobody saw coming. To understand Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, you have to go back to before Fleetwood Mac, before Rumours, before any of it. Back to a high school in Northern California, sometime in the mid-1960s. Lindsey was a junior when Stevie transferred in as a senior. She already played guitar. He already had that instinct for music that made people stop and stare. They crossed paths a couple of times at social events, brief, forgettable moments, or so they both thought at the time. Stevie graduated and left for college. Lindsey stayed behind to finish high school, and near the end of his senior year, he finally found his band. As fate would have it, they all ended up at the same college Stevie attended. Their musical relationship officially kicked off with a band called Fritz, which played up and down the Bay Area. Clubs, high school dances, opening slots for bigger acts. Lindsey is quick to point out that at this stage, he and Stevie were not romantically involved. They were just two young musicians figuring it out, side by side. But Fritz eventually ran its course. They tried to land a deal in Los Angeles and hit a wall. However, and this is important, every single person who met them in those rooms pointed at the same two people, Lindsey and Stevie. So when Fritz broke up, they looked at each other and thought, well, what now? The answer changed everything. They moved in together, fell in love, and became Bucking Nicks, a duo that relocated to Los Angeles with nothing but talent and nerve. Lindsey had never written a song before. Stevie's voice, though, that was already something supernatural. In 1973, they released their debut album together. It didn't sell, not even close. The label dropped them. To the outside world, it looked like a dead end. But here's what people missed. That album contained the blueprint for everything that was coming. Stevie's voice and Lindsey's guitar work weren't just compatible. They were magnetic. You could feel something between them, even on tape. And one person heard it clearly. Mick Fleetwood, drummer and co-founder of Fleetwood Mac, stumbled across the Buckingham Nicks record and immediately knew he'd found what his band was missing. He called Lindsey. Lindsey's answer was simple and non-negotiable. I'll join. But Stevie comes with me. Mick didn't hesitate. It was a package deal, and that package deal rewrote rock history. The 1975 self-titled Fleetwood Mac album was an instant hit. Songs like Rhiannon and Monday Morning shot the band into a new stratosphere. But what came next is the stuff of legend. By the time the band started recording Rumours in 1976, something had cracked. Lindsey and Stevie's relationship was over. Barely, painfully, messily over. John and Christine McVie, the band's other couple, were divorcing. The studio was basically a pressure cooker of unresolved love, grief, and ego. And rather than fall apart, they did something extraordinary. They turned it into music. Lindsey channeled his frustration and heartbreak into Go Your Own Way, raw, almost aggressive in its honesty. Stevie replied with dreams, forward-looking, graceful, aching. Lindsey later described the experience with striking clarity. They were basically writing dialogues to each other. Every song a message, every lyric a confession. Rumours spent 31 weeks at #1. It has sold over 40 million copies. It is still, to this day, one of the best-selling albums in history. And was born almost entirely from two people who could no longer be in the same room without it hurting. Lindsey has said recently that there was nothing to hide, that everyone knew what the songs were about, who they were about. Fans weren't just buying music. They were watching a love story collapse in real time in 4/4 time with incredible guitar solos. Through the late 70s and 80s, the creative friction between Lindsey and Stevie became almost mythological. Lindsey was a perfectionist who'd spend weeks chasing a sound. Stevie followed her instincts and dreamed in metaphors. When they were aligned, the result was magic. When they weren't, it was something else entirely. The 1979 album Tusk became a flashpoint. Lindsey pushed the band into experimental territory. Stevie wanted something warmer, more familiar. The record earned critical respect, but couldn't touch Rumours commercially. The tension had a price tag now. By 1987, Lindsey was done. He left Fleetwood Mac, officially citing a desire to pursue solo work, but privately admitting that the relationship with Stevie had become untenable. I don't think any of us could handle it anymore, he has since said. It was either go or fall apart. There were reunions. 2003 brought a well-received tour that gave fans hope. But the patterns always returned. And then came 2018. On the eve of a massive Fleetwood Mac tour, Lindsey Buckingham was fired. No warning. No conversation. Just gone. He believes Stevie was behind it. That she told the band it was her or him. and they chose her. It wasn't just a professional betrayal, he said afterward. It damaged something inside me that I don't think can ever be fully repaired. That sentence lands differently when you remember this is a man who once insisted this woman be part of the band in the first place. So where does that leave him today? Here's what's surprising. Lindsey Buckingham, at 75, looks like a man who has made his peace, or is at least actively working on it. After suffering a heart attack in 2019, just months after the firing, that forced emergency open-heart surgery and temporarily robbed him of his voice, many feared his musical career might be over. The procedure damaged his vocal cords. The recovery was long, uncertain, and deeply humbling, but he came back. He has continued to record and perform solo. His home life in Los Angeles, with his wife Kristen and their 3 children, has become the quiet center of a life that was once defined by chaos. By all accounts, he has found something in fatherhood and family that the rock and roll years never gave him. Stability, presence, peace. He still plays. He still writes. And when he talks about Stevie now, the bitterness that used to sharpen every word has mostly softened into something more complicated. A mixture of grief, gratitude, and hard-won acceptance. What Stevie and I had was special, he has said. It helped us make something lasting. Something that will probably outlive us both. He acknowledges she brought something to Fleetwood Mac that was irreplaceable. He talks about the pressures of fame making it nearly impossible for 2 people to love each other well, that they cared for each other but lacked the tools to protect that care from everything surrounding it. He says, some things you just have to let go of. Right now, I'd rather be grateful than angry. That's not the statement of a bitter man. That's the statement of someone who has done the work, quietly, privately, away from the cameras. Here's the thing about Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks that no headline can ever fully capture. What they created together, through the love and through the wreckage, has become a permanent part of what music means to people. Go Your Own Way plays at breakups and weddings. Dreams gets rediscovered by every new generation. Don't Stop has soundtracked everything from political campaigns to graduation parties. That music is bigger than their argument. Bigger than the 2018 firing. Bigger than any of it. And at 75, sitting in his home, raising his kids, still picking up a guitar and chasing something true, Lindsey Buckingham seems to finally understand that. He didn't get the ending he wanted with Stevie, but he got something rarer, a body of work that will outlast them both. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.